Okay, Ijal, let's look at the first topic for this test, which have to be cells. So we look at these different year past papers I've been able to compile on cells. Now, the first question here have to do with, um, we have, I said, figure 5 shows three type of cell: bacterial cells, liver cells, and mesophyll cells. Now, bacterial cells are prokaryote, liver cells are animal cells. Obviously, only animals have liver, and mesophyll cells are plant cells. Now, they say give two similarities between the prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell. Now, both liver cell, both liver cell and mesophyll cell are all eukaryotic cell. They are all eukaryotic cell. However, only bacterial cell is a prokaryotic cell. Now, two similarities all of them have is that both prokaryotes and eukaryotes have cell membranes. They both have cell membranes. Another thing is that both of them have cytoplasm. You can also see this dot here, which both of them also have ribosomes. That's it. Now, the next question here is, we are told that we should give three differences between a prokaryotic cell and an eukaryotic cell, which is also quite easy. Now, if you look at them, you can still use the diagram to look at the differences between these cells. Now, what are the major differences between a prokaryotic and an eukaryotic cell based on this diagram? One, you can see that eukaryotic cell have what we call they have mitochondria, while prokaryotic cell do not have mitochondria. Now, eukaryotic cell is just 1 micrometers, so it is quite very small compared to liver cells and these mesophyll cells, which are eukaryotic cell. Now, you should understand that some students might get confused with this. This is micrometer, but this is in millimeters. So this is quite larger than 1 millimeters if you have to convert it to micrometers. So the major difference you should pick out is one, find out that prokaryotes are smaller. Prokaryotic cells are smaller. Another thing is that prokaryotes do not have mitochondria. Another thing is that but eukaryotic cells have. Prokaryotic cells have just lump of DNA. So if you look at it, they have single lump of DNA. They do not have nucleus. So prokaryotic cell do not have nucleus. So sorry, no nucleus in prokaryotic cell, only loop of DNA. That's it. Now, we have another question here. Let's say calculate the size. We are meant to calculate the size, calculate the ratio of the size of the bacterial cell to the size of the mesophyll cell. So you see what I was saying about their unit. So that's where they want to try and confuse you in terms of this question now. So if I want to do that, I have to, the size here is 1 for that of bacterial cell. So they say bacterial cell to the size of mesophyll cell. So we'll look at bacterial cell have 1 micrometers ratio 0.05 millimeters. So because if you look at the mesophyll cell here, it is 0.05. So now, are you going to leave your answer like this? Absolutely no. The reason is you have to convert them for them to be at the same unit. So this 0.05, to convert it to micrometers, from millimeters to micrometers, you multiply by 1000. So if you multiply 0.05 by 1000, that will give you 50 micrometers. So your answer will be 1 micrometers ratio 50 micrometers. So this will be 1 ratio what? 50. That's all. That's what you need to do. Now, the next question is, they said, name the type of cell division that produce genetically identical body cells for growth and repair. Now, the type of cell division here that do that is mitosis. Remember, there are only 2 types. We have mitosis and meiosis. Now, meiosis give rise to genetically different cells, and meiosis is only needed for formation of gametes. Yeah, that's sperm, egg cell, and your pollen grains. While mitosis is used for the production of every other body cells and give rise to identical cells. Now, the next question is this. Okay, I think you could see it. Let me. Now, here they said a student prepared some animal cells to view using a microscope. Now, figure 1 shows the student preparing the cell. Good. Now, name 2 pieces of laboratory equipment the student could have used to prepare cells to view under a microscope. This is quite very easy. It's just to label what the student is actually doing. First, this is called a cover slip, and he needs a slide. That's all. So slide, cover slip. This is L, please. Next, they said the student tried to look at the cell using the microscope. Now, so just one reason why the student could not see any of the cell when looking through part A. So where's part A? Okay, this is the microscope. Okay. Name of part A. Part A is the eyepiece, or you can call it the lens. So part A is the eyepiece or the lens. Then what is the function of part A? Part A allow movement of sample slowly up and down to focus on the image. So sample slowly up and down so you can focus on the image. That's the function of part B. So it helps to move this stage up and down, so it allows you to focus on the sample on the image, so you'll be able to see it clearly. Okay, the last question here is trying to be fast. That's why I want to, it's not all I'll be writing. Now, the student tried to look at the cell using the microscope. Okay, so just one reason why the student could not see any of the cell when looking through the microscope. You might not see if the microscope is not properly focused. So So it might not be focused on the sample. It's 1 mark. That's why you can't see it. Now maybe there is no enough light, or the light in the mirror is not focused onto the sample. That's why you can't see any image. Okay, moving forward, they say red blood cells are specialized cells. Yeah, compare the structure of red blood cell with the structure of a plant cell. This is a long response question that is 6 marks. So this question is quite very easy. When they say compare here, they are not asking you for the difference alone. So what you are looking at is, when you are comparing something, you must look at the difference between them, and you must look at the similarities between them. Now, red blood cell and plant cell, first I will write is that both cells are what? They are all eukaryotic cell. They are all eukaryotic cells, so both cells contain cytoplasm, and both cells contain cell membrane. So they all have it. So that's similarities. Now, however, both cells differ in a lot of aspects. So as you're explaining the difference, also try to bring out their functions. So you find out that red blood cell help in the transfer or the transportation of um, oxygen around the body. So it contains hemoglobin. So while plant cell contain chlorophyll for what? For photosynthesis. This one contain hemoglobin to transport oxygen. Now, plant cell also have nucleus, but red blood cells do not have nucleus. They are made from the bone marrow. Now, and the lack of nucleus help to give it more space in order for it to carry more hemoglobin to transport more oxygen around the body. Now, while plant cells have cell wall, red blood cells do not have cell wall. Plant cells um, have mitochondria. Red blood cells do not have mitochondria. Red blood cells have biconcave disc shape, which enable it to change size and shape to fit into the blood vessel, why plant cells do not have to do that. So that is how you answer this question. You should be able to draw them, possibly from their diagram. If you draw this from the diagram, now these have a vacuole. Remember, a nucleus. This does not have nucleus. It's just trying to describe the biconcave disc shape. So if you do that, cell wall, cell membrane, both have cell membrane, cytoplasm, both have cytoplasm. But however, plant have vacuole, have mitochondria, have um, chloroplast, nucleus. So that's it. Once you do that, there is nothing that will stop you from getting your full 6 marks. Now, here we have another question. Um, They said the question is about cells and transport. Now, name a cell part that contain genetic information. Um, that part is contain genetic information. That's the nucleus. Then mitochondria function for sites for aerobic respiration to provide energy. Control the movement of substance into and out of a cell. That's the cell membrane. That's quite easy. I think, did I miss anything? Okay, I'll go back. Cell membrane. Now here they said cells in potato are plant cells. Yes, cells in potato do not contain chloroplast. Yes, what is the function of chloroplast? For photosynthesis, to produce chlorophyll which traps sunlight for photosynthesis. Now, name one type of cell in a potato plant that does not contain chloroplast. The answer to that question is the type of cell that don't have chloroplast in plant are your root hair cells. Know that. Now, I have a question here. They said, when placed into a beaker of water, the red blood cell bursts while the plant cell do not. Explain that. Now, the first thing you should know is that red blood cells have no cell wall. So, and if you place it into a beaker of water, water will move into the cell by osmosis. And if water move into the cell by osmosis, it will swell and then burst. But plant cells have cell wall. So instead of bursting, it becomes turgid. That's the answer to that question. It's I wouldn't say it's a tricky question, but it's simple. Now, so sometimes you might want to explain in detail, like since it's 2 marks. So you can say there is higher concentration of water outside. Let me just write it. There is higher concentration of water outside. Outside than what? Than inside. So water will do what? Water will move into the cell by osmosis. I'll give you your first 1 mark. Now, so we can now conclude by saying the red blood cell will absorb water and burst, while the plant cell will not burst because it has cell wall. So that's it. That would have given you your full mark. Okay, we still have a long way to go. There's a lot of question here. Okay, I think I've answered this. Okay, let's see. The higher we go, the cooler it becomes. So, sorry, I'm quite tired. Just now, I have a question here. They said figure 1 shows an animal cell viewed using a microscope. Okay, so the microscope. What is the function of the nucleus? The nucleus contains genetic information and it helps to control cell activity. That would give you a mark. So you find that the question don't change. It's just the same pattern. Now, they said, name one type of cell that does not contain nucleus. I just mentioned one not too long. Cells that do not contain nucleus are red blood cell, RBCs. Bacteria do not have nucleus. We have xylem cells. So you just need to remember anyone. They don't have nucleus. Now, here, we are told to draw a simple diagram of a cell in figure 1. So this figure, label 2 part. Now, when you draw, there are certain criteria you need to take note of. Those criteria is that there should not be, it should just be a single line. So if I'm drawing, let me see if I could compress this so I can see both cells. Now, so if you're drawing, It's just simple outline, single line, and that. They said we should label two parts: cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus. You are done. Now, name one structure found in plant cell but is not found in animal cell. There's a lot of structure in plant cells that you don't get in animal cell. Things like chloroplast, vacuole, those are the answers. Now, I think I have two more slides. So here they said figure 2 shows some different cells. Figure 2 shows some different cells. Okay. Um, Now they said the real size. Figure 2 shows some different cells, and the real length from X to Y is 0.06 millimeters. So we are told that the distance from X to Y is 0.06. Now calculate the magnification. Use the equation. There must be something I'm missing here. Something is missing here. I'm meant to calculate magnification. I'm giving calculate the magnification. Use the size of the image over resize. Did I miss something? Figure 1.1 shows a cell viewed using a microscope. Draw a simple diagram of the cell. Okay. I feel I didn't copy this question complete. There must be something I'm missing. Now, let's say, because if you need to calculate this, you have the real length. Okay. Sorry, I've gotten it. Now, they say the real length of xy, that's real length. Now, real length of line xy is 0.06 millimeters. So that is real size of the object. So size of the object will be magnification m will be equal to size of the object. We have it at 0.06. Now, so for you to get size of the image, this is the image. So all you need to do is get your ruler and measure from this point to this point. Now, once you measure that, let's say your ruler gives you 2 point maybe 5 centimeters. Now, you should or you must convert it to millimeters for you to have the same unit to divide. So 2.5 will give you 2.5. To convert to millimeters, you multiply by 10. That will give you 25. So this will be 25 divided by 0.06. Whatever you get is the answer. So please be careful. I thought they've already measured this and give us the value, but actually they said the real length. So this is now the image length. You have to get that yourself with your ruler. So that's it. The next question here is there another question here I miss? 3 marks. Why is there so? Okay, this is the space for working. Sorry. So magnification, once you do this, this is what you're supposed to do here. Then you calculate. Magnification always have a times in front because the both units, if you convert, this will now be millimeters. So divide by 0.06 millimeters, both of them will cancel out each other. They write your answer. Now, they say the cell in figure 2 were viewed using a light microscope. Give 2 advantages of using electron microscope instead of light microscope. Now, so the importance of electron microscope instead of light microscope is that electron microscope have a higher magnification. Electron microscope have higher magnification. That's higher magnification. And also electron microscope have higher resolution. And these allow you to see images in more details. That's all. Higher magnification, higher resolution. So let's see question number. Okay, I'm just series of questions, man. Now, they say a root in a, is a plant organ. Yes. Now, plant roots contain many types of tissue. What is a tissue? A tissue is a group of similar cells that carry out similar functions or specific functions. Now, you must define it like that. So it's a group of cells, same or similar cells that perform specific functions. That's it. Now, the next question here is tissue is in the tip of tissue in the tip of plant root contains stem cells. Remember, stem cells are unspecialized cells that divide by mitosis to produce specialized cells. Remember that. Now, stem cells can differentiate into any type of cell. Okay, so name the type of tissue in plants that contain stem cells. These are the meristems. Meristematic tissues. So they are the ones that contain stem cells. Now, aspirin is a painkiller. Which plant does aspirin originate? Aspirin, aspirin. Okay, it's called the willow plant. Aspirin originates from the willow plant. So is there a question here again? Let's see. Okay, good. So figure 7 shows the malaria protist. Now, the malaria protist is an eukaryotic cell. Now, describe 3 ways the structure of the malaria protist is different from the structure of a prokaryotic cell. So, what's the difference between eukaryotic cell and bacterial cells? That's what this question is all about. I think we've done something similar to this earlier. So it's just, I included this for you to just see a different format in which they can ask you a question. So the same thing repeated in a different way, 3 marks. So first, you find out that these have nucleus, bacteria do not. These have mitochondria, bacteria do not. These bacteria have loop of DNA, while this contains its loop of DNA is found inside its nucleus. Bacteria also contain plasmids, if you remember, while these do not have plasmids. So that's it. It's just basically that. Okay. Now they said the last slide with the question. Quite tired. Now, this question is about cells and transport. A completable one. Function, contain genetic material. Contain genetic material, obviously that's your nucleus. There is no big deal about that. Nucleus contain genetic material. Now, cells in potato are plant cells. Cells in potato do not contain chloroplast. What is the function of chloroplast? Chloroplast contain chlorophyll that traps sunlight for photosynthesis. Is this repeated? No. Now, plant cells, okay, plant cells and fungal cells are similar in structure, okay? Now, figure 2 shows a fungal cell. Now, this is cell wall, cell membrane. You have cell wall here, you have cell membrane, you have nucleus, you have vacuole, you have cytoplasm. So, what will be the question now? We are told that name one structure in figure 2 which is present in both plant cell and fungal cell. Nucleus, cell wall, cell membrane, vacuole, cytoplasm, anyone. You just need to mention one. So that's it. So I will try my best between now and your exam to be sending you one video that covers each of the topics. So this is for cells. So I'm going to send you the one that will cover the next topic. If I can do 2 in a day, because I have to sort them out. So that's the aspect where it is quite difficult. So have a nice day.